Hey guys, Evgeny here. Just wanted to give my 2 cents on this whole Crowder and Daily Wire beef that's going on right now. This drama that's going on between them. I saw Steven's initial video. I saw the Daily Wire's response, and then I saw Steven's response to their response. And at that point, I just more or less, stopped watching. I got a bunch of other stuff in my life going on right now, but I see stuff, in my notifications. I think Andrew Clavin had a response. Candace Owens had a response. I see Jeremy from the Quarterings, in many ways in Crowder's camp. I hear Tim Pool's getting into the mix now, and I'm just kind of, I don't know. I feel this drama. I'm conflicted, honestly. I feel on one hand, this is needless drama that the left's going to lap up and enjoy, and point fingers and poo-poo and mock and flout, despite the fact the left's always fighting something within their own ranks as well, but that's neither here nor there at the moment. And the other side of me thinks, no, maybe some good will actually come of this. Maybe it's good to air out the dirty laundry. Maybe there are some issues that need to be addressed. But I do feel like there might have been a better way to handle this, in that, going back to Steven's first video, I like the idea of him wanting to do things a little bit differently and actually support conservative influencers in a way that provides more of a safety net for conservative influencers. Sure, maybe Steven might take a bit of a hit in the business model, or take a hit in the bottom line, I should say, but at least, he'll have, influencers and talent who, over the long run, it might actually turn a nice profit for him and raise certain people up to prominence who need to get their voices out there. Whereas if you're, if what Steven says is true, and there are people who are afraid to take risks and take a real stand for truth, because not only will they get punished by the powers that be, but they'll also get punished by those who are supposed to be quote unquote supporting them, then yeah, that is a very bad business model. Because whether we like it or not, conservatives are the real counterculture at the moment. We are the ones standing against the powers that be. And at the end of the day, I find it, that if you're going to punish somebody for getting on the bad side of the very people you were hoping that they would speak against, then unfortunately, well, you're not really going to make any inroads, okay? You're going to be on the defense constantly. And I hope and pray that that's not the case at DW, because you are dealing with, forces out there that can rain down some very heavy, financial artillery on your position. Demonetization would be, case in point right there. You say something that, is a perfectly moderate stance, and it gets flagged as a conspiracy theory nowadays. So I think I think if that's the practice that's happening at DW, then I think that really needs to change. And I think if Steven's willing to put his money where his mouth is, I think let the market handle this then, If Steven wants to create a model that allows more of a safety net for people to take more risks, where they're not going to get punished immediately for losing ad revenue, or losing monetization because they dare to ask questions about, say, a certain election of a certain country. I'll leave it there. Then I think that would be a better model, honestly, to go with, because guess what? You're allowing people to actually voice what they want to say, which should be the way it is which should be the way it should be in the first place. And you are, like I said, bringing people up who need to actually get their voices out there. And you're not punishing them for angering the very people that you're hoping that they'll stand against. So I think, honestly, I want to see how the market works. I want to see, Steven put his money where his mouth is, to support people who actually might need to have that safety net underneath. And sure, he might take a hit in some ways, but it might pay off big in the long run. Hopefully that causes DW to look at themselves and say, maybe Steven was onto something here, and we ought to, actually allow more people to have a safety net underneath, and, maybe not threaten them with financial penalties for getting, say, demonetized, for instance. I think if that's actually the case of what's actually happening at DW. So I think all in all, this should have been done behind closed doors, or at the very least, it should have been, finished after 2 videos, one from Steven, one from Daily Wire, and then let the market handle it from there, with Steven going down, doing it his way, and with DW continuing to do it their way, and to see which approach, yielded the most fruit and, ended up bringing in the most profit or the most notoriety or both. So, just my 2 cents on the subject, and that's all I got to say. Peace.